Okay, this peculiarity is constricted right to pension for Kenya Defence Forces mirrors, but does not find support in the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which under Article 24 provides for limitation of fundamental rights and freedoms only to the extent that the limitation is reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on human dignity, equality, and freedom. Close quote. This protection is taken away under Article 24, number 5, for persons serving in the Kenya Defence Forces or the National Police Service by providing that legislation may limit application to them of fundamental rights and freedoms relating to privacy, freedom of association, assembly, demonstration, picketing and petition, labor relations, economic and social rights, and rights of arrested. It is noteworthy that this provision applies to persons serving in the KDF, and to extend the same limitations after officers and service members have left the service of the KDF is not contemplated in the Constitution. The constriction of rights and freedoms for persons serving in the Kenya Defence Forces are acknowledged as necessary. This constriction should, however, not be extended to pension, gratuities, and other allowances. Other benefits that can be enjoyed once the person has ceased to be a member of the military. This is besides the case that can be made for military veterans law that caters for other needs of retired military officers and discharged service personnel post-military. Inadequate provisions. Apart from the above noted regulations that entrench the principle that pension and related benefits are not available as a right to retired officers and service members, other regulations make inadequate provisions in view of their needs. A. Under the schedule of regulations, Part E thereof provides for assessment of disability on account of psychiatric conditions and lists such condition as chronic neurotic condition and chronic psychotic condition. A major condition affecting officers and service members is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. While PTSD may be classified as a form of neurotic condition, its prevalence calls for specific mention. For instance, that the schedule may be read chronic neurotic condition, including PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Part of the challenges of retired officers and discharged service members involves a lack of mental wellness arising from service that may need attention by way of counseling and other psychosocial interventions and rehabilitation. Provision should be made for psychological trauma, such as would be caused by sexual assault, or that does not amount to insanity, but significantly affects the individual in a way not accountable for by the schedule. B. The administration of claims for pensions, gratuities, and allowances is inefficient. Though Regulation 45 provides for payment of pensions or gratuity within 90 days of retirement or death of an officer or service member, except where there is delay due to legal proceedings, there is no provision for recourse that ensures this timeline is not defeated further. To guard against inadequacy in internal mechanisms such as medical boards, recording of injury reports, rehabilitation and recovery support, incidences of award, resignations, court martials, as well as corruption in the process of processing the benefits, it is proposed that Regulation 42, that empowers the Defense Council to issue administrative direction, be expanded to include value propositions, such as providing that the directors shall not only be issued for directions shall not only be issued for administration of the regulations, but that it shall be with a view to achieve efficiency, care, and integrity in the administration of claims and conform with the principle of fair administrative action. C. Periodic review of pensions has been removed from the regulations. It was provided under the 1980 regulations, Regulation 28A, to be done from time to time, it read. And under the annulled 2017 regulations, Regulation 31, to be done within a maximum of 4 years. Equally, cost of living allowance was removed from the regulations. It was provided that under the 1980 regulations, Regulation 29, and under the annulled 2017 regulations, Regulation 33. This allowed for increase of the awarded pensions, gratuities, and allowances to account for an increase in the cost of living that is constantly published by the government. Periodic review of pensions should be specifically provided for to mandate and require the Defense Council to ensure that the pensions system does not become obsolete due to time and inflation. By stating a period for such review for a period not exceeding, say, 5 years. Additionally, the cost of living allowance should be provided for in a manner suggested in the 2017 regulations. Corrections to be made. Under Regulation 19(1), after A and B is provided, open quote, and may award pension for permanent disablement and additional hardship allowance in accordance with Regulation 22 and 23, close quote, which as drafted is inelegant and confusing, as it does not appear to be applicable to preceding subgraphs A and B as it should. Corrections should be made accordingly. The Armed Forces Pensions and Gratuities Officers and Service Members Regulations 1980 has not been specifically revoked. Aside from the savings provisions of Regulation 45, there is need for a specific clause stating that, open quote, the Armed Forces Pensions and Gratuities Officers and Service Members Regulations 1980 are revoked, close quote. Allow me to now read the conclusion. We trust that our above views and observations shall be taken into account in the preparation of the eventual promulgation of the Kenya Defence Forces Pensions and Gratuities Officers and Service Members Regulation 2021. We owe it, you owe it to us as retired officers and discharged service members, and you too are in the pipeline anyway, to put in place a system of administration of pensions, gratuities, and allowances that is fair, that is humane, and that meets our modern and projected needs. So thank you very much for paying attention to this. I do hope that I have been able to make some sense. I am open to feedback. Please do share your thoughts and let us see how far we can be able to go together in care and protection for military veterans and our families. Yeah? Do take care. Remember to wear your mask. Remember to wash your hands. Remember to physically distance. Remember to take care of yourself. Remember to exercise. Remember to hydrate. And remember to just know that even this season shall pass. Mwah.